Hey everyone! Today's video is all about thrifting and easy DIY home projects. We will head to the thrift store first and I'll point out some things I look for that make easy projects, and then we'll head back home to DIY and style together. Let's go ahead and get started. First, I spotted this glass bowl and instantly thought that by turning it upside down, you could make it into a cloche. I don't have any cloches this shape, so I went ahead and brought this home. I like to pick up inexpensive table runners and doilies when I'm thrifting. I have some holiday DIYs planned for these, so stay tuned. I shared these two amazing ironstone finds in my last video. My friend found this stack of ironstone plates for $6.49, and then I found this Red Cliff ironstone piece for $8. This was all in the same trip, which was absolutely amazing. This little flower wall art didn't look like much at the store, but sometimes you have to think beyond what you see, and I knew a little bit of paint and some antique wax would completely transform this piece. Now that we are back home, I have a few pieces to share with you. Now, this is a collective haul. I did not find this all in one trip, but that's one thing that I will say about thrifting is that it takes time and patience to find pieces. I have said this before, but there are many times that I go out thrifting and I don't find a single thing, but you have to keep trying, and then those pieces pop up when you least expect it. The first couple projects that we are going to tackle are all going to be centered around wall art. I love to share simple ways to transform thrift store pieces on my channel, DIY projects that anyone could do no matter your skill level, and everything that I am sharing today requires very few supplies and the projects are very easy to do. I have several frames here that I am painting in the same color, which is Accessible Beige by Sherwin that you can buy at Lowe's. I tend to use the little paint samples that you can pick up at the paint counter there because they are relatively inexpensive and you can get quite a few projects out of just one sample. So I painted all of those the same color, and now I'm going back in with my antiquing wax and wax brush and just highlighting some of the details on this frame to give it an aged or antique look. I left this frame empty because I thought it looked so pretty here on my peg rail, but you could certainly add a print to it if you wanted to. You can keep the print in the back of the frame by using a little bit of masking tape along the edges. For the flower wall art, I painted it the same color, the Accessible Beige, and I did have to work in the paint to the crevices a little bit with my paintbrush. Once it was dry, I went back in with the antiquing wax again and added some just to the edges of the petals to make it look old and worn and give the flower a little bit of dimension. I am going to style this in our primary bathroom. I added some sweet ribbon to the top of it and then just used two nails to hang the flower and then hang the ribbon above it. My favorite part of these frames is the little ring detail at the top. To get these ready, all I did was remove all of the old prints and the glass, and then I painted the frames in the same Accessible Beige color. First, I wanted to show you how you might style these frames for the holidays, just thinking ahead a little. I made these watercolor images on ChatGPT, and I do have a video tutorial that shows the whole process for that I will link for you. Make sure that when you are printing images at home that you change the settings on your computer to print in the best quality. It'll make your print look much sharper when you print it out. These would be so sweet with a little ribbon tied at the top and then styled on a picture easel for Christmas. Using the same frames, I wanted to show you an everyday style as well. I actually thrifted this roll of wallpaper for $3, and all I did was trace a rectangle the size of the frame on the wallpaper and cut it out. To make it a bit sturdier, I did glue the wallpaper to some cardstock and then tape it to the back of the frame. These gold frames were another easy wall art project. All I did was remove the backing and take out the old prints. I used some Rub and Buff in the color European Gold to change the gold color and tone it down just a little bit. I already have these prints on hand, so I went ahead and just cut them down to size to use in the frames, but I also wanted to show you what these would look like with some winter or holiday prints. I always add Mod Podge to my prints to make them look more like a painting. I then style them in the frame without the glass. I tend to just tuck the glass in the back of the print and then put the backing of the frame on just in case I were to ever need the piece of glass again. You also don't have to hang these on the wall. They are the perfect size for little picture frame easels as well, especially for the holidays. I have been wanting to try stripping old stain off of wood using the easy off method, and I thought that this $5 thrifted chair and these cutting boards would be perfect to give it a try. The chair had kind of an orange tint to it as well as the cutting boards, and I wanted to get rid of that. I still have quite a bit to learn when it comes to refinishing furniture, but I'm always looking for easy and approachable methods to update furniture pieces. I removed the seat of the chair and then took everything outside. You do need a sunny day for this project because the pieces need to dry in the sun. I sprayed everything down with the easy off, let it sit for 30 minutes. Then I came back with my scrub brush and gave everything a really good scrub. I hosed everything off and then let it sit in the sun to dry. While everything was drying, I wanted to recover the chair seat. I have used this old curtain for so many projects, I decided it would be perfect to recover the chair. The chair and the cutting boards did need some mild sanding once they were completely dry. I went over both of the pieces with 120 grit sandpaper and then 220 grit to smooth everything out. I love the color of the chair when it was all finished. I decided I was going to use this piece in my downstairs office because I moved my other desk chair up to my space that you saw in my last video in our primary bedroom. The cutting boards came out in this really beautiful dark wood color. I was actually not expecting them to be this dark. I would thought that they would be lighter like the chair, but I absolutely love the contrast in my very white and bright kitchen and thought that they added a good bit of character on my kitchen island. Next, I found this lamp on a thrifting trip with my friend, and it had the sweetest little floral and bow detail. I knew with a little bit of paint I could easily change the look of this lamp. Stay tuned until Cozy Chats this week. I will be sharing 3 questions that I always ask myself when I am thrifting items for DIY projects. I painted the lamp in my favorite warm white color, Dover White, which is another Sherwin-Williams color that you can find at Lowe's. Then I went back in with my antiquing wax and a small brush, and I went over the bows and the flowers and gave them just a little bit of dimension by lightly brushing them with the wax. This beautiful wood desk was a marketplace find, and I believe I ended up paying right around $80 for it, and it is one of my favorite furniture pieces that I have found to date. It is just the neatest little piece of furniture with all of the little drawers and the little cabinet on the inside, and I love how it folds down like this because it is the perfect little piece of furniture for this corner in the primary bedroom where I do some of my filming now. I needed a little desk like this to set up my equipment and my computer, and this one checked all of the boxes for me. To style this desk, I am adding the newly painted lamp, and on the other side to balance it out, I have this wood core bowl and then some antique books. I did pick up some of these Craft white dishes. I absolutely love these dishes. I have them all over my house, and I also brought home the antique spoon holder. Now, I haven't found any antique spoons to display in it yet, so stay tuned to see how that collection grows. I thought that we could style my kitchen island using the glass bowl that I thrifted and also that amazing red cliff ironstone piece. I started with some green plants first because I love the look of ironstone or white plates with that green of the plants. I am using these beautiful blue dishes as my base and then adding a little white creamer on the inside of the glass bowl that I just turned upside down. The ironstone piece also looks beautiful styled here. I'm having a hard time deciding which one I like best. In this week's Cozy Chats, I wanted to share 3 questions that I always ask myself when I am thrifting pieces to DIY. These help to hold me accountable and help me to thrift intentionally. Thrifting takes a little creativity sometimes. Often you have to look beyond color and try to imagine the piece in your home and what changes you would need to make in order for it to fit your style. I always inspect pieces for quality, especially furniture, before I buy them. Oftentimes, things made of inexpensive materials will not stand up to a more substantial makeover. This last question is an important one. It is easy to get caught up in thrifting and looking for those really good deals, but try to stop and reflect before you buy something and consider where you will put it and what you could use it for. This keeps the DIY process intentional and your home uncluttered. In next week's video, we will be revisiting some planning for the holidays. I have my favorite holiday staples to share and some DIY projects. As always, I hope that you got some inspiration for your home from this video. If you love thrifting, easy DIY projects, and affordable decorating tips, I hope that you will subscribe and join me here every Friday. Thank you all for being here, and I will see you next week.